the first couple podcast I've ever done, which is cool, and I think it's special that it's live. Hopefully people tune in. Either way, it's going to be put on YouTube later. So Tristan and Shelby, guys, thank you so much for coming through.
Cool, no problem. It's
Thanks,
really, it's nice to be on.
Yeah, you've sat over there on that side before, and you've sat on the chair. So at least now you can be on the podcast.
Yeah, have something to say.
Yeah. So you guys, obviously, you've been together now for how long?
Like 2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Do you know the exact date?
Yeah, she's better with the dates than me.
Okay. It's always a thing, you know. The girl tends to remember the dates a bit better.
Yeah, the girl knows the finer things.
We've often forgot like our anniversary.
Yeah.
Like the 21st.
Yeah, like the big ones, then you remember. But like when you've been together for a while, it stops being like 1 month.
No,
2
of course.
months,
I think the biggest thing is just you remember the anniversary for the year.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else you really need to actually, like celebrating the tiny things. Like this is our first date. Like that kind of the day of your first date. Like that kind of it tends to get a bit much.
Yeah. But we've always like just tried to keep it like fun and like appreciate each other all the time, as opposed to like one day, like it's really nice to just show somebody more often than not.
Yeah, but then do you guys as a couple do like Valentine's Day actively, or is it kind of just you'll still maybe go on a date, but it's not really more special than any other day?
Yeah, like I think like Tristan buys me flowers like at least twice a month, so
okay.
Then I just get a little bit more on Valentine's Day, but this is really cheesy, but he makes me feel like Valentine's Day every day. He treats me like that. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I know.
That's definitely what you should, because you should always feel special. It shouldn't just be on one day of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I believe at this age, if you're going to be in a relationship, then you should be...
That's much better.
...trying to make the person feel as special as possible, It's like, at our age, we're very serious. We're thinking about the rest of our life, so... you really want to go all out. But it's not that it's hard, it's just it comes easy for both of us, I think.
And how do you guys as a couple, because obviously, you can't exactly go out on tons of dates. You can't exactly go out every single, like 3 times a week on, obviously when you go to a restaurant, you don't want to have to get a steak and a salad every time.
Yeah, but we often do that. Like we'll go and just like, so if we have chicken on our plan, like then I'll have a chicken salad from there. If we just feel like going out, But we don't often...
Look, we've gotten better. When we first started dating, we were like, I feel like very much in the industry, very, very... we wanted to stick to all the guidelines. Now, like, I'm not saying we're making up the rules as we go, but we're trying to be more social, trying to experience new things, travel a bit more.
Especially when we're off season,
Yeah, of
then
course.
like we're more lenient, we'll be like, okay, we'll have our steak at a restaurant or whatever. Not all the time, but just like every now and then we feel like it.
Yeah, and it's one of the biggest things to me and how my outlook has changed is if you're going to be in shape, you must also enjoy it.
Yeah.
So often we've looked at photographs of ourselves when we've been at our best and we say, yes, we didn't really enjoy it because we were so like worked up, you know? So I think the more sustainable approach is actually really nice.
I enjoyed it.
And is that how you pretty much do it going forward, or?
Look, I mean, I'm trying to be a bit more sustainable in my preps, but I think because I've got a good coach and because I've got a better understanding of myself, it is easier to use different options, but still do a very regimented prep. But I mean, that's when I'm doing it seriously. When I'm off season, it's a lot more lenient.
Yeah, of course. And now, because you've been leading up now, so what is it
for? Yeah, so I did a prep at the beginning of the year. I was meant to do my pro debut in LA, and then that got cancelled like 3 weeks before. So then I was like, let me just make the most of this and let me just challenge myself a bit mentally and see it through. And that was a good experience. And then now the same thing happened. I was prepping to go to Worlds in London and it got cancelled. So I think it's just more of a mental challenge for myself just to see it through and see what I can achieve. But now it's become a bit more experimental. How much can I enjoy my day-to-day life while getting into the best shape?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not eating junk. I'm just maybe enjoying a glass of wine here and there. And just also from my client's perspective, I'm just trying out different things.
Yeah. Do you guys think maybe as a couple, you kind of have opportunities to grow and, you know, connect a bit better when you are more flexible and there's no arguments over like, oh, we can't go out tonight, we can't eat this, we can't eat that, or because obviously you're both being in the industry and you're both being on strict diets. There's times where, I mean, anyone on a strict diet knows conflict happens because you get hangry. You know, like
Hanger's real.
Yeah. Is there maybe less arguments and?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, like, sometimes, you know, I can have a cheat and Tristan can't, or vice versa. You know, he can and I can't. And I mean, like, we understand that, you know, because at the end of the day, we're not having a cheat because it's what we've chosen to do, and that's what our coaches require of us at that time, you know. So, I mean, like, you know, like, sometimes I just watch him eating something nice and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I wish I could. But I mean, like, it's our choice, like I said. So, and we don't argue about, like, oh, no, we can't go out, or... I mean, so no, but from the point of view, when we're very close to show, like, obviously feelings are heightened and you're a bit more emotional because you're very hungry and like a hard deficit and all that. So you're automatically a bit more snappy. But I mean, we understand that about each other. Like, I know when Tristan's like in a little bitch mood, like, I just keep quiet. And, like,
who gets more upset between the two in terms of like...
I get more upset. Okay. I'm like I can get quite emotional during the last few weeks of prep, I'll admit it.
I just go very quiet. I think he's come to understand that, like, and nothing's wrong. In the beginning, it would be
I'd be like, are you okay? Are you okay? You know,
and I'm fine. I'm just like, I just don't have energy. Just make a conversation right now. But no, we understand that about each other, you know. So.
We've been very lucky in the sense that we share a mindset that we really want to improve ourselves as athletes, as coaches. And to share that mindset's really special because if I'm struggling, I know that she's going to push me, and the same way with her, you know. So I mean, that's something that we've been fortunate with because not many people that do this have a partner that does it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys say that, you know, as Shelby said, maybe you can't have a cheat meal, Tristan can, or vice versa. You've obviously been in times where, you know, have to be super strict for a show. You know, 2 weeks out, whereas Tristan might be, you know, 12 weeks out.
Yeah.
How has that been in, obviously, because you going through like a peak week and you going through not having to do it? Obviously, you just need to kind of be understanding, or...
No, I think like from around like 2 weeks out, I don't know, for myself, I kind of like, taste doesn't really matter to me anymore. You know, you're right at the end, so it's just like nothing really like phases you at that end, at that stage, you know, so... I don't know how Tristan feels. We've been in that situation, you know, where he's been really close out. Like, when we got to New York for his show where he won his pro card, like, when we got to the airport, I had...
donuts and stuff. She was trying them for me so that when I could eat them, then...
Yeah, you know the good ones.
Like, I could see, like, in his eyes, like, he... You know, it's not easy and stuff, but he was also just so like focused that you don't really think about like, oh, what can you eat now?
Yeah, especially when you spent all this money, you've gone through 11 weeks of strenuous dieting and training. Like, what's one donut going to help you when you've been doing this for such a long period of time?
Yeah, and I think we want to do so well that, you know, it's not really on the cards, but. Sorry, I've just gone blank.
No stress.
Night brain.
Don't worry. How long have you been, you know, restricting your calories for? And how hectic is the restriction?
So I've probably been for about 6 or 7 weeks now.
What, in like a cut?
Yeah, in a cut.
I don't think that long.
So I was very lucky this off season.
It feels longer because you're cutting.
Yeah, so I was very lucky that in the past. I feel like because I'm so tall, I've always been underfed. I don't, without disrespecting anybody, I don't feel like I've been under the guidance of somebody that has been able to feed me up to my maximum potential.
Okay.
So this previous off season, we really went for it. I mean, I was eating everything under the sun, bagels,
like
rice.
How many 1,000 calories a day, like 7,000?
Some days I pushed it up that high and it was
it's
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the way it was done, I was able to like maintain a good body composition. So when we got into the cutting phase, just the slightest reduction of calories, because I was so used to that, actually made a difference.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been a very difficult prep at all. Only in the past 2 weeks has it sort of started to feel like prep again.
You said off season you're trying to get up to 7,000. How many are you on now?
I'm not sure exactly. I mean, my coach is handling that, but if I can give you an example of like rice measurements, a pretty low day for me is 5 cups of rice.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So, and I mean, and that's
Yeah.
making me pretty tired. So,
And is that like a cup per meal?
yeah. So, I mean, so that's a 250 gram portion of cooked rice times 5 a day.
Yeah.
So,
I think because he was eating so much that now, like, even when he eats a lot, it's still, you know,
Yeah.
his body, because
Your
it's
body
so
feels like
calorie
it's in a
different.
deficit because it was so used to being so
Yeah,
overfed.
but
It
I mean-
handles so much that it can actually do a lot
Yeah.
when you're even still on a lot of food.
but I mean, I'm really loving this process because there's a lot of variety with the food, and it's really fun.
Yeah. And you? How's your dieting right now?
No, it's good. It's good. I'm
Oh,
back
you've
in
been
training.
focused.
I think the last time I was here, I'd just been training for a few weeks. So yeah, I've been really into it, and I feel like myself again. I feel like I'm slowly growing.
Yeah.
Muscle memory. But yeah, with regards to competing, I think I mentioned this last time as well. Taryn and I haven't got a set show that I'm going to do as of yet. I think we both just first want to get me in terms of muscle mass back to where I was, and then we'll focus on that, because we both know if I have to say now, okay, I'm going to do a show on this date, it's going to make me panic, because I've now got to worry about getting back to where I was and try and get better and on focus on the show. Whereas now, without that set date in mind, I can actually just focus on getting back to where I was, and then we'll take it from there.
And are you eating obviously more in like a surplus, but so you don't want to put on excessive body weight?
About, so on a normal day, about 1,800, and then on legs, on leg days, I go up about like maybe 150, 200 calories.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm nice and full. I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
I think that's also one of the biggest things is like self-doubt, like after injury, because I keep on saying, you know, you've put on a lot, you're almost ready, or I sometimes feel that she is ready, but to her, like she's not ready just yet.
Yeah, you're always
You
your own worst critique, you know.
Yeah, and that's something that I think we help each other a lot with.
How is that? Because obviously, in terms of like couples, it's difficult to be like, you know, objective and be like, you could improve on this and this and this, because also you don't want to offend them, but they also need to understand that you're doing it for their own best interests.
Look, we brutally honest.
Yeah, no,
we're honest with our clients. We're honest with each other. I think it's like you can't just beat around the bush.
Yeah, no, we're very straight up and frank.
So how honest, like Tristan, bro, you fat? Or like
She's told me I'm looking a bit. She calls me chubs sometimes if I get a post-show rebound.
When Tristan and I started dating, like his legs were a lot like down, like too much. You know, they needed a lot of work, and you know, I told him that because he asked me, and like as we got more comfortable and stuff, you know, and I mean they like double the size now than what they were when we started.
Yeah, they've
dating.
definitely improved
And
drastically.
I always said to him like, baby, your legs like are too small. Like that's the honest thing. Like he's not asking me to. When someone asks their opinion, I don't feel like they're asking it just to hear a nice answer. They're asking it because they genuinely want it. And I know if I had to ask him something, like I don't want him to just tell me something that's cool to hear. Like I'm asking because I need to know, you know, or I want to know. So I mean, what is he gonna get out of it if I'm like, no, babe, your legs, like, you know, when they're not. And but now like they've grown so much, and I think the fact that I was honest with him and said like your legs are your weakest point. It actually fueled him and helped him to bring that up more. So,
I mean, even when Shelby went to go compete at Worlds in Spain last year, like the stakes are quite high, you know, and like I'll look at her and then I'll say, okay, this is what I think, and then she'll message her coach. So like it's quite a nice sort of circular thing that's, you know, like there's a lot of good open communication, and I think that's what helps you to do better and also enjoy it, I suppose.
Well, I mean, you're in an industry where you're going to be critiqued, and it's pointless to try boost their ego and lie when
sure.
actually they don't need, like, what's the point in lying? You'd rather be honest. Maybe they'll be slightly offended, but they're going to realize you're just doing it for their best interest.
You know what? I think everybody's got different goals, and everybody in competing also has different goals, because some guys don't want to necessarily take it to that like next level.
Yeah.
So I think there is levels to criticism, because somebody's really good is another person's not so good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like her calling you fat, a lot of people be like, what do you mean he's not fat? He's got like no body fat. No, of course. I was paraphrasing.
Sometimes he's not lean,
Yes.
fine. Like I told him I don't care. Like I'm not fat.
And now that's also another thing, like we don't, obviously like there's a huge attraction because that like we with the person that we think is like ideally how they look, but we see past that, definitely,
Like when I was in off-season, when Tristan and I started dating, like you would not find me in shorts, like pajama shorts. Like I had those long pants on, and now like, even if I get a bit like porky or whatever, like.
But girls are super hard on themselves. I think way harder than guys.
If I'm hot, like listen, in front of him, I'm gonna wear shorts no matter what it looks like, because I'm hot,
Yeah.
So we're at that point, which I think is really good and important, But in the beginning, you don't want like someone to see like a little bit of cellulite.
Yeah.
Now, like I literally like will like screen this together and be like, babe, do I have cellulite? So we're at that level, which is nice. So.
And that's what's a relationship needs to get to that point, because obviously you need to be almost courteous and kind of understand and respect the boundaries until you learn the person's boundaries, until you understand, what you can and can't say.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing you're going to achieve is time, because it's impossible to know exactly how someone is in a relationship without time.
I think we're also lucky, like we've been thrown into some hectic situations, like you said, with the peak weeks and stuff. We both had to be overseas with somebody on a peak week and where you are not dieting. So you end up like doing a lot for that person, I mean, to give you an example, when I was in New York, I was so depleted, like I could barely even walk. We were in the middle of a heat wave, and I was decarbing for ages. And then, you have to do that whole water load.
Yeah.
But we were like 2Ks from the grocery store.
No,
so then,
okay, like a K.
There's
It
Shelby,
felt like 2Ks.
There's Shelby walking with my water bottles.
8 liters of water, like 2 liters in a sandwich, and then like you hook the plastic bags of all the eggs and stuff on your arm.
Cutting off the circulation.
And then Jack goes, no, you need to have an Epsom salt bath 3 nights in a row. So then the bath wasn't giving out hot water. So then there she is boiling a kettle to put the thing,
So you just sort of learn how to.
Well, in every successful person's life, they have someone there for them.
Yes.
And it's amazing that you can, and I think it's better that you weren't prepping at that time.
Oh yeah.
Because if you were both super depleted in a country a foreign country, I think it would kill you. And so you would argue, and it would be. I mean, when Sasha and I were prepping for
how was
Muscle Militia, it was fine. And also luckily we'd been together for about 2 years, so it wasn't bad. And but when you're at gym, like you drop a bottle, you drop the corky, and you look at each other and be like, I don't have the energy to pick that up. And you just like have this stare, be like, you pick it up. And she'd look at me and be like, no, you pick it up. And then like the little things were kind of just so much effort. And then you'd like have an argument over the stupidest stuff. And then you kind of look at each other and just like, you know what, I'm so tired. Why are we arguing?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've also experienced that where like a silly thing will upset you, and it's just because you're hungry.
No, it's really funny.
So we just kind of just go quiet and rather like we know if we open our mouths there's going to be an argument, so it's better just left unsaid.
Yeah.
And going forward, obviously, you said you're in a stage where you're starting to look at serious situations in your life and making serious decisions. How do you think that will affect competing with being in a relationship, and like obviously your goals are going to change, your life's going to change?
Look, I think kids is still a while away for us. We still have a lot that we want to do as a couple in terms of like our fitness careers, even maybe looking at some opportunities overseas. So there are a lot of things that we want to do before we get to that stage. But I mean, we are probably as serious as we could get. So I mean, not much is going to change, even if we put a title on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we basically have 2 kids already.
Yeah, we basically got 2 kids, our dogs, yeah.
So like obviously you guys don't have a place that's just yours yet, hey? Or do you?
Well, we kind of
do. We do.
Okay.
We have like a home in Tristan, in Greenside,
yes.
in Joburg.
Yeah.
So he has like a whole attachment like next door to his parents.
Okay.
And that's basically like our place.
Yeah.
And then we have my house in Pretoria, which is also, my sister lives there too. So, and I mean, we're always together. We're either in Joburg together, we're either in Pretoria together.
So you never really, obviously there are times maybe where you be separated, but...
Yeah, like when Tristan comes to work in Joburg like 3 times a week, he spends like the whole day. I'll often stay in Pretoria and work. So I mean, we're in the day, but I mean, the last time we slept a night away from each other, like, I don't know, I don't know what I'd do with myself. Like, I'm so bored. Like,
well, how did you guys meet? Obviously because of the industry.
How did we meet?
Yeah, you tell them.
Yeah, so I slid in there.
Okay. Don't worry, I slid in Sash's DMs over.
As I'm sure a lot of men have, but I was very fortunate that she replied.
Okay.
But there was a little Facebook request that prompted
After
me.
you liked like 100 of my pictures, I added you on Facebook.
Yeah.
So did you DM first and then get a request, or was it after the request that you DM'd?
I got the request first, but I'm not saying anything.
Tristan liked like 15 of my photos,
okay.
and then commented like flames and stuff on one of my
Standard.
posts.
That has to happen.
And followed me, so I was like, okay, like I noticed. And then I was on Facebook, and you know where it like suggests a friend.
Yeah.
I saw his name there, so I was just like, I just pressed add. I've got no scam in admitting that, but you made the first move. I would have never added you if you didn't do that.
How did you feel? Did you get a little bit of butterflies when you got that friend request?
I was quite chuffed.
And then he messaged me at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, so I was prepping for the WBFF here.
Okay.
And I was quite fired up for it and everything, and worked very hard. And I got injured about 2 weeks before, and I gained a lot of water retention on my left side, and I needed somebody to cry to, so I was crying to her. And then I still ended up doing the show, and she was there, and that's the first time I met her. And then
I didn't go there to watch him.
No, she was there on the front.
You thought she was there to watch you.
Yeah, I actually admitted that I liked her in my water dropped state.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So
you didn't have any tears to make it a bit more. Oh, yeah, so I was gonna say something. Yeah, you say you had holding water in your left side. What happened?
I was doing lap pull downs the one day, and this whole piece just like I don't know if I was just like a bit worn out or what the problem was, but I basically like really injured my left lat.
Did you like tear muscle?
I think it was a tear because I couldn't train back for a very long time, and then it sort of like inflamed here. So I did a lot during the week before to try bring down the inflammation. But I mean, the kind of cortisol and stress that was released, it just sort of messed with the look, you know.
And on stage, could you see that there was an issue?
Yeah, you could see that I wasn't at my best, for sure. Yeah. Like my conditioning was definitely off that day.
So you were in Spain did you go to Spain? Where were you again?
For Worlds.
Yeah.
We were in Spain.
Okay, so you were the one that wasn't prepping in that.
I wasn't prepping in
so
that.
So what did you have to do?
Let me tell you something.
We'll be here all day. I have to tell you.
Okay, so we get there and we rent an Airbnb. We have got very bad luck with Airbnbs.
No, like terrible.
We always get the worst ones. It looks so nice. And then there's a bath, and we like, okay, cool, because you have to do the salt baths and stuff.
So I specifically requested a place with a bath.
And we like both. I'm sure you're the same. In the last week, everything's got to be to the T. Just mentally.
You don't want anything to stress you out even more. You're already so stressed.
So first night, cool. And then they tell us, no, sorry, you guys have got to move to this room next door.
At first I was practicing posing, and I smashed their sentimental mirror, which I had to pay like 3,000.
How did you smash a mirror?
I moved it off the wall. It off the thing. I left it and it slid, and like and then they moved us, and there was no bath in the place that they moved us. So I obviously freaked out. I was like, I've requested a bath, like I have to bath. So long story short, they said there's no place. And for like 4 nights, I had to go and find a hotel and pay for a room just to have a bath.
Just for the bath. You should have paid, since you were paying for the hotel, just go stay at other places.
But then there's no kitchen.
So it's
we were spending like $1.50 every night for like 4 nights just so I could bath. Like.
But the language barrier. So then they think that you're talking about a shower because you show them a direct translation on your phone.
And then you pay, and then they take you up to the room and there's only a shower, and they don't want to give your money back.
Jeez.
And then there were plugs. It was hilarious. Seriously.
Yeah. And then we paid for one place and there was no plug, and then she gave me a plug and it didn't fit, and she said that's all she had.
Yeah.
So I had to like sit there with a towel in the. And then I set our apartment on fire, and they were already not happy with me.
Were you cooking at this point?
Yeah.
I forgot my rice on the stove, like, you know that.
Yeah.
And,
we were just looking around for sweets to eat after the show.
And I forgot my rice on the stove, and when we came in, there was like fire people everywhere, and they really didn't like me because I'd broken their mirror, I'd complained about the bath, and then we had complaints that Tristan's from downstairs, his stomping was too loud.
Typical South Africans.
I know.
It was an experience.
I think it's crazy if you think about an Airbnb there what you'd get compared to what you'd get here. I mean, it's amazing what you can get in South Africa as an Airbnb, and you know the luxury actually that we have.
I know. That's also one thing that we were thinking about, like, you know, do you move overseas? I mean, I love it here. I'd only go for like fitness opportunities and stuff. And just to experience a bit of a different life while I'm still young.
Yeah.
But you sort of need to look at the kind of life we live here compared to what's accessible to you over there, you know? People live in a lot smaller places, say in the UK or, you know.
Yeah, your 2 children won't have as much space.
Exactly. We even need to take them into consideration.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm not going anywhere without them.
Exactly.
No way. Yeah.
Well, I mean, dogs they literally are man's best friend. What are their names?
Johnny and Sarah.
Okay, and they are
miniature Italian ground.
And they run a lot. Do they need to be exercised dogs? Because they're very fast dogs.
Well, we have like a decent sized garden.
Okay. Ours are quite fat though.
It's got like no, they're not fat, but for greyhounds they are. Like normally greyhounds, like you can see their ribs and stuff.
Yes.
You can't see that on them.
Is that just? Is that treats, or is it just, you know, a little bit of extra?
These dogs are so spoiled.
Okay.
No, they get like rice and cooked chicken and stuff.
But it's not from your prep food, obviously, because it's measured. So if there's a little bit left over...
No, we don't give them human food, except Sarah, she likes like broccoli and blueberries.
Okay. Yeah, you see, but
and red peppers.
There's nothing wrong with that, because I mean, that's obviously healthy.
If I'm like making that, like I'll just give it a little bit of that. But I don't like giving them weird stuff. Like especially that breed, it's a very sensitive and temperamental breed. Like... If someone shouts or something, they're like shaking so much, and like if there's rain, they like freak out, and they're always cold, and so they're very temperamental.
Okay. Yeah. As a couple in the industry, do you think, like, let's say you weren't competing, do you think you'd still be together? Because obviously,
definitely.
It's not just your bodies that you obviously find attractive about each other.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's the biggest thing that I really like. I feel like I could lose all the muscle and everything and it wouldn't matter, you know? So that's something we're very lucky with. Yeah. Not that everybody's shallow, I'm not saying but, you know.
No, I'm just, like, the reason Tristan says that is because I love muscle, like, on a female and especially on a male.
Yeah.
So obviously that's something that attracts me at first, and then... Well, I'm not saying in general, I'm just saying if I'm like, you know, like in Tristan's case, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then thereafter you get to know the person, and then you decide, like, are you attracted to the inside as well, or is it just the outside? And I mean, if you don't like the inside, you're going to walk, you know, well, I would.
Yeah, you can't last on attraction.
Yeah,
of course.
So the fact that, like, I'm attracted to him inside and outside is really good. Like, we literally like best friends as well. Like, I do the same things and say the same things in front of him that I would to my best girlfriend, you know, and I love that. Like, we can be stupid, and there's nothing I can't do in front of him.
Yeah. She can also be one of the guys, which is really, really nice for me, because I don't have a good thing. I don't have much of a filter when I'm not on the air, you know. So it's nice just to be able to say whatever I feel and make jokes and whatever, you know.
But also that's when you change yourself for someone else, then it's not a good relationship.
Yeah, and I think that's why we gel so well, is because there's none of that. Like,
I think a lot of relationships like that are based around competing. They just see the person, they're like, okay, I want that one, and then they think that they'll be a good mix.
Because it's not always like abs and flipping quad splits and all that, you know.
It isn't. It really isn't.
It's that for 1 week.
Exactly.
You only look like that, you know, just before a show.
Yeah.
So I mean, luckily there's attraction, like personality-wise, physically. sense of humor, emotional, all that type of attraction. Luckily, all those blocks are ticked, you know. So when one of them fall away, like let's say the physical, because if our body's not in shape, it doesn't change anything. I mean, like, you know, when you fall in love with the inside as well, what happens to the outside sort of just, it doesn't matter anymore, you know, because you're already set on that attraction.
So, but talking about that shape, I mean, for once, like 1 week of the year or so, that's why I've got so much respect for guys like Ulysses Jr., Roger Snipes. I mean, it would be quite interesting to see what they go through to make their careers actually work, staying at that level of shape.
Yeah, because to always be in shape and to always, as them, they're basically always in photo shoot condition.
Yes.
And to always be like that is severely difficult.
I mean, you almost wonder, is it genetics? I mean, is it mindset? What is it actually that's setting them apart?
Not always, is it photos? Is there like at least, you know, I mean, how did they go away in December and not put on any weight? Like
maybe they like take like, I've thought of doing this before.
Taking lots and then
put
just
on like a million different outfits, change your hair, change the
yes.
But like, I mean, for them, like, okay, cool. But I mean, I'm not gonna. Why? Like, you know, it's not the truth. Like, I'm not always peeled like that. I'm not always stage ready, and I actually feel like you reach more people, and more people can understand you if you actually show them that.
100%.
That you're real. You know, like you're not always. It's not always abs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
You as a female, do you think you've lost, because obviously Tristan's main following is obviously males, you know, predominantly males. Obviously there are females, but because women, it's more difficult for a woman to follow a guy. Like they're more hesitant to do that than, I mean, a guy sees a pretty good follow. So have you seen, like, being in a relationship, like the number of males that follow you decrease? Or because I know, like, if I post a photo, like, I'm not saying, you know, girls want me, but if I post a photo,
it's okay if they do. It's okay.
If I post a photo with Sasha, it gets far less likes than if I post a photo.
Totally,
No, definitely, no, absolutely. I mean, like, I can confirm that. I think, like, you know, people just like, I don't actually know. I'm not a male, so I can't really say what it is. But I mean, that's definite, you know. And
but also, you're not doing your social media to have guys commenting and following you. You know, you're doing it to motivate and inspire and promote health.
Like my own type of like passport, you know, like my journey passport. So it's I'm not putting this stuff out there to be like, hey, please message me or slide in. You know, I'm not. You know, I'm like, you know, in a happy relationship, I'm settled and all that. I'm not looking for anyone else or anything else. So.
And you? I'm sure.
What do I feel like with the girls or the guys?
Either.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I've always had like a more predominantly male following, because a lot of the content that I post is like training stuff, shirtless stuff, and like, sometimes it's quite overdone in the sense that, like, not everybody wants to be at like it's so bulky in their off season or so tight in when they're lean. So it's like there's quite a specific person that wants to look like that, you know. So I think like a lot of girls aren't into that.
Sorry, you can carry on.
But yeah, no, definitely if I post a photo, then there are like slightly less likes. But no, I've got a very good, like, a lot of my clients are like gay guys and stuff like that. So, you know, that's also been something that's been quite interesting for me, because a lot of people have got stigmas about these things, and they think, oh, like, you know, like, how can you have a professional relationship if this guy's like looking at your body? But I mean, some of those people, or all of them, are such amazing guys and so respectful. And they've taught me a huge amount, you know. So that's actually been a very interesting part for me over the past year.
Yeah. And that's also, I mean, because guys in general comment on and DM much more than
for
girls.
Sure.
Much more than girls. So, and I mean, that's our times are changing.
And I mean, you get it, I'm sure.
Lately, obviously, I still get the messages from like gay guys.
Yes.
But from girls, not so much, because they clearly see, you know. And also, I don't know. I actually, to be honest, I've never seen a change in the amount of people that DM me.
Yes.
Like it's always kind of just been not too much. Like,
I feel
obviously, like sexual DMs.
Yes. No.
Like, obviously,
you
you know,
those.
no, from guys. Yeah. But also, I think it's just because guys, generally, they're horny, they just put it out there in the world and let people know.
And that's what's been interesting for me to sift through, who is actually like a predator and who is like a nice person that just wants some genuine help for their physique, you know? Because let's face it, there are a lot of weirdos out there.
There's creeps, and I mean, sometimes like I'll get a DM from this one guy. I'm like, Sasha, come look. It's a photo. It's blurry. I'm gonna accept it, then you're gonna see it with me. And
you get that.
Like a week ago, I got it again. Like it was just. But the thing, like I've noticed, is that a lot of these pages are like following 3 people.
Yeah.
And they've got no followers, and then. So you can see it's a fake account. But anyway, I got this one the other day. It was a blurred one. And I opened it in front of just...
Yeah, on the cars.
Just like,
was it a pic of downstairs?
Yes.
But look, I mean, I feel like now I can just see who is weird and who isn't. And like, I think after, I mean, you've been doing this forever. You'll know, like, you just don't even open yourself up to it.
Yeah.
But people are keyboard warriors. They hide behind a screen.
Yeah.
You know? So they're a lot braver then. And I mean, people are so quick to make fake accounts now.
Yeah.
Just to say what they want to say.
And you'll never really know which who it is.
Yeah, it's actually hectic.
So I mean, because they not like they're too scared to do it from their own face and name. So they'll make. That's why there's so many fake accounts.
Yeah. And that's the problem, because I mean, you get this photo, it's just a photo of down there. You don't know who it is because it's a fake account. You can't tell what it is, who it is. And I mean, there's nothing attractive about getting a photo like that. Let's be real.
I mean, like, who's even got the balls to do it? You know?
No pun intended.
What does he expect? Like, I'm going to reply and be like, okay, cool.
I love this.
Like the hotel room now.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I don't know.
And obviously, the way times are going, girls do DM more slightly than what they used to.
Yes, I think.
And you know, I think it's just girls are just getting braver, and it's nice to see if someone, like, obviously not like just a photo of your winky or something, like you don't need to do that. But I mean, if a girl does send a message to a guy, sometimes guys are like, yo, this girl is actually, she's messaging me. I mean, if she's doing it to everyone, different story. But if you truly get that one message and it's nice, I think for guys, it's kind of like, yo, she actually sent me a message. I mean, even just that friend request.
It's quite refreshing, actually. You know, it makes you feel like, okay, maybe I do have a chance. Or,
And I mean, that friend request that you got.
Yeah, I feel like if I hadn't seen that, maybe I wouldn't have had the confidence to send the message.
And as a male, I think there's so much power actually that girls have over us in terms of social media.
100%. Definitely.
Like, you getting that friend request is amazing. Whereas another girl getting a friend request from a guy, so what? She's got 50,000 others that same day as well. Yeah. And also, I mean, we spoke about this in the last podcast where, Tristan can see, like, you're not entertaining these guys, so it doesn't put a strain on your relationship.
No, he knows, like, he can go through my phone anytime,
Yeah.
So whatever's there, I mean, I've got nothing, I've never hid anything from him, I've got nothing to hide from him. So I mean, like, if someone says something to me, like I've told him before, like, you shouldn't worry who's saying what. It's more, you should worry about how I respond if I do respond, So I like I said last time, I often respond, but like that picture I got last week, like, I'm not going to respond to that because that would purely put me in the wrong. Like, why am I entertaining it, So, but if a guy has a nice compliment or he's asking me a question or whatever, I'll 100% reply. And I told Justin that from the start. Like, if you think I'm just going to now, like, not have any of my guy friends that I have, or if you think I'm just going to ignore every single guy that's actually being decent, like you've got it wrong. Like, I'm not going to do that, because I don't have ill intention by still having guy friends or responding to a nice message from a guy saying good luck or well done or asking me a question, So, I mean, as long as they're not inappropriate or anything, then I don't see any harm. And I said the same to Tristan, like, if a chick messages him and she's clearly, like, tailgating him, like she wants something, like, if he wants to respond, it's his response that's going to matter to me, not what she said or who she is. So, but if the girl sends a nice, decent message, like, I think it's right for him to respond and just say thank you. You don't want to just ignore people.
Yeah.
So,
look, I mean, at the end of the day, this is our brand. It's her brand, and I've also got my own brand, and we need to also be polite to people, and you can't think that everybody's wanting to get in your pants or something, And I mean, that's also like the biggest part of being in a mature relationship, is just accepting and just being chilled about those sort of things, you know.
And that's obviously something that you have had to grow, because no one can.
For sure. At the beginning, I was like, is this oak? Who's that oak? You know, it's natural. But you need to realize, why are we posting these things? Why am I posting a top in my undies or with my shirt, or if I'm trying to show my progress? Same with Shelby. She's trying to inspire other females, you know. She's not trying to get like all the thirst traps coming out,
like,
you know.
I take progress pictures for my coach, like I often do it in my underwear, like, you know, I don't just go put a bikini on, like sometimes I do, but I mean like, and then if I like want to post that and share that progress, like to me I'm not like, it's in my underwear.
Yeah, it's the motives behind what you're sharing,
I don't care, like at the end of the day I stand on the stage in a little bikini and like,
you're in the exact same thing as
Yeah, so how's it any different? Like if I'm also in like a little pair, okay, it's not, the bikini's not underwear, but I mean it's still the same cut and body covering just as much. You know, it's just not because it's underwear. I mean, so to me, I'm like, I've never been one that's like phased by those underwear pictures. Like I've done photo shoots with Sean where I've got like a bra and underwear on. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there with my legs wide open, you know, and like stuff.
It's not a porn shoot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like I believe that there's like art and beauty behind that as well. So I mean, everyone has their own opinion, but that's just
no, of course.
And like in fitness, particularly, everybody is showcasing themselves. So you really have to have complete transparency with the person that you're with, you know. And I think that openness between each other is ultimately what is going to get you to the other side. In such a cutthroat and cunning thing. You know, I say that, but I mean, generally, the South African industry is very, very supportive. I know I've seen a lot on Facebook. They're like, oh, the industry this and the industry that. I mean, if you go and you do a show here or anywhere, these people are behind you. Let me tell you, you know, no matter who you are, they want you to do well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, guys, thank you. That's 41 minutes, so we'll close off there. I really appreciate you guys coming on. I think maybe some couples can learn a lot from you guys. And because, I mean, as a couple, you've kind of voluntarily put more stress on your relationship because
I guess
but we also found each other when we competed.
Yes.
Like
we didn't go into it.
So I got Tristan knowing, okay, this guy competes, and he got me knowing, okay, this girl competes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, we are stable and steady, but we still have our shit, like everyone does.
No, it's not
so
always.
There's nothing perfect or nothing easy flowing. Like, there are hard times, and there is, like, we argue, we shout, we do everything that, like, normal couples do, you know, so...
Well, guys, thank you so much, and thank you for everyone listening.
Thanks, Jess.
Of course. Cheers, guys. Bye.